If you really want to impress people with your Christmas dinner, I'll show you how you can use your laser cutter to engrave up a ham and make a really nice decorative centerpiece. Now, it's only August, so I'm not going to do a great big ham. So I'll use this tiny little leg ham here, and I'll demonstrate to you some of my advanced ham graving techniques which I've developed. Now, the 50-watt laser cutter has far more power than we actually need to use. And when you got the focus lens, it cuts too much, it doesn't really engrave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the lens entirely, and as well as using just the bare beam, I've also made a series of pinholes in 1, 2 and 3mm sizes that I can insert to make a fine pencil beam. So, as well as spreading the power out a bit more, this also has the advantage that we can use like a curved or bumpy surface like the ham and not have to worry about hitting our focal point, because the beam's just going to come straight down anyway. So, I'll set this up and then I'll go and show you how we draw up some pictures for doing this. Alright, so we'll lay out some baking paper first and get our ham in place. Pick the nicest side we want, we'll do that side. I'm going to have to lower this. And a rough measurement gives us a working area probably around 9 centimeters by say 10 wide. I've drawn up my vector file that I'm going to test in Inkscape, and what I've done is I've made each of the 3 different nozzle sizes a different colour. So black is my 1mm, red is my 2mm, blue is my 3mm. Green is just a bounding box, it's not going to be cut. So what I'm going to do is export this as a DXF file, and because it's separated into 3 different colours, when I import it into the laser cutting software RDWorks, it's going to be already set out into the 3 different layers for me, and I can set up a different cutting profile for each layer, and I can cut them just one layer at a time, changing the nozzle between different layers. So all the cuts are going to be done at 85%, which is maximum power for my machine. As the beam gets a bit thicker, I speed it up a little bit. So I start from 3mm per second for the 1mm nozzle, up to 5 for the 3mm nozzle. So what I'm going to do is I want to line my ham up so it's in the center. So in my system settings, I'm going to set my laser head to the center point. So that way, if I set my origin on the laser machine in the center of the ham, it should line it up pretty good. So we'll go over and start doing that. Alright, I've lined the nozzle up with the center and set that as the origin. So ready to start cutting the 1mm lines. Now the 2mm nozzle hole has been put in place. Now we've finished off with the 3mm nozzle to do the star. And there we have our engraved Christmas ham. Alright, so now we'll pop it in the oven. And we'll give it a bit of maple syrup. I don't put cloves in it, I don't like the taste of them. Now this will do. We'll leave that there for a while. And after 20 minutes in the oven with 2 coats of maple syrup, we get our beautiful decorated ham ready for Christmas dinner.